So I'm going to go to theaterforthenewcity.net. Just Google it. I'm going to go to their website, and I'm going to go to the tech rentals cabaret, and here they have pricing, and they have their plots, their PDFs. There's more inventory below it, it seems, but I believe that is just a quick glance version of this document. We're not going to get into that. We're going to just go with this package. So I'm going to download this. I have a nice link there. I'm going to come to the desktop. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to make a new project. So I'm going to call this TNC Cabaret 2026. I'm going to name this Cabaret Reference Drawing, and I'm going to save that. It didn't go into the folder I wanted, so we'll drag that in there. So cool, I know where that is. Just take the hyphen out of there. Okay. Now I'm going to go into Vectorworks. This should be the main page you see when you open Vectorworks. So I'm going to go to blank document. Not really sure why it opens two. I'm going to close this one because why not? Save as. I'm going to go back to that cabaret folder just to stay organized. I'm going to save this here. TNC. Okay. So that'll make our Vectorworks file .vwx. And here we are, blank template, ready to go. So I'm going to change a couple of preliminary things first. I'm going to go to page setup, and I'm going to set this to a piece of paper that I'm used to working with, which is ArcD, which is 36 inches by 24 inches. Everything should be checked off. I leave this all just as is. Try to get this checked out as far as its scale. So this is telling me this is a 50-foot line. Going to go to the measuring tape tool, and I'm going to grab that point by clicking once. Go over here, hold shift, click twice, and the first thing I notice is that this is showing up as 37 feet 6 inches. So I need to fix that because that's a pretty sizable difference. So in order to do that, I'm going to come up to Modify, Scale Objects. I'm going to make sure Scale Text, Scale Entire Drawing are checked. I'm going to measure this again. I'm not sure if the settings were in there because I have done this before just to practice, or if because it took the info off the measuring tape tool. If someone wants to post in the comments if this ever goes to a comment board, might be good knowledge for everyone. And yeah, new distance is 50. I have a feeling it's because I've done this before. So it's gonna blow up. Vectorworks is gonna reload for a second there, and I'm gonna just do a quick save. Control S. Hopefully you guys can see my keystrokes okay. So that's cool. So now I'm going to go in here. I'm going to change the scale, the paper scale, to 1/2 inch. Just get bigger drawing on that page. And I'm going to start with the wall tool. The wall tool's in the advanced tool set under the building shell. I'm going to select the wall tool, and I'm going to just go to this top left corner and start drawing. Right. Alright, so right there, there's a problem that you guys might run into. It's drawing the wrong edge of the wall. I'm on the inside edge, but it thinks it's drawing the outside edge. A very important feature of Vectorworks that you need to learn is the tool mode area. And the tool mode area is right up here. So every tool you select over here will have, not every tool will have as many modes, if any modes, but certain tools have a lot of modes. This becomes like the real deep dive of Vectorworks, is learning tools and their individual modes. You're gonna learn certain tools and their modes more than others depending on what kind of work you're doing, whether it's theatrical design, set design, lighting, so on. The wall tool, I think, is a very common tool, especially if you're the kind of the guy on the team that's kind of doing everything for everyone, because they don't really know these types of tools. So you're really bringing a lot to the table with a program like Vectorworks. But with that aside, this is, again, I'm just trying to stay here for a second and talk about this because I think it's a very powerful thing to really focus on, is the tools and this area up here and the modes. Okay, we're going to get to a couple other really powerful areas of the software really quickly, but like first powerful area is the tool sets, the advanced tool sets, the advanced tool sets menu, which is this area and this area, and how these change. But like once you get comfortable with this is the next area you really come as far as your tools go. So we're gonna switch this edge, and we're gonna go to that option, and as you can see now, it's the right edge. I'm gonna connect that. Alright, so there are some problems with that, but we're gonna fix those problems in a second. So the first thing I don't like is that this isn't connecting, but that's not, in my opinion, what we should fix first. This wall isn't thick enough. This wall should be as thick as this for all intensive purposes. So let's switch this to 1 foot. And I'm going to grab this edge with the pointer tool. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to drag that edge down to where the edge of the drawing wall is. And that's pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So this is 1 foot. I'm going to do the same thing with this one and this one at the same time by holding shift and clicking. I'm going to make this 1 foot. I'm not going to drag them together though. I'm going to come back here, click and drag, hold shift down to that edge. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna clean this up. Very important to get to know how these little blue squares and what your mouse turns into symbol wise. Good to know. That's gonna help you resize and reshape objects with the pointer tool. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna hold shift. I'm actually gonna use the fact that I'm holding shift as a way to set that point-to-point connection. So holding shift will allow you to keep things on your straight line axis. It's very good at keeping drawings very like in line, keeping everything lined up. It's one of the things that computers are better at than people, is drawing straight lines in some ways. Okay, so I think we've got a pretty good framework here. I'm gonna do a quick 3D check, and I like that. That's a good, easy, 3D framework. Okay, so now on the number pad, I'm gonna hit 0 to jump back up to top plan. Sorry, 0. I could do that over here. I can go into 3D views from this menu, but if you're using a full-size keyboard, you can use the number pad and you can hit 0, 9, 7, 1, and that'll give you quick 3D views of your project. I'm going to hit the space bar and hold it to grab the hand grabber tool and just center that. If you want to use the quick button that I showed you before, it's this zoom key. And we're going to keep going. So the next thing I feel like I should do is put in the chair platforms. I know, because I've been to the space before, that these risers are somewhere between a foot to 3 feet off the ground. So we're going to just guess for the sake of drawing. It's always good to check your measurements on site to make sure what you're drawing is accurate. But for now, we're going to just go with a 2-foot step and a 1-foot step. So I'm going to draw this platform with a basic square using the rectangle tool. I'm going to draw another one for this other riser or step. Then I'm going to come over here with the pointer tool, and I'm going to do Control E for extrude, and I'm going to go up to 2 feet. And I'm going to come into here, and I'm going to go extrude, Control E, and I'm going to go 1 foot. Now if I come back into 3D, I have seating risers. Okay? And I just demonstrated what basic shapes, like basic 3D shapes, how powerful the extrude tool can be. So you can use the square, you can use the rounded angle tool, the circle tool. You could do the circle tool and make cylinders. Spheres is a little bit more complicated, but that's when you start getting into like 3D shape design. We're not going to do that in this video, but there will hopefully be videos from me, and there are certainly already existing videos on YouTube to really deep dive into 3D shape design. I'm actually going to fix one thing. This platform is actually wall to wall. So I'm going to bring this over to here. There's a walkway as you come in from a stairwell. So, you know, doing a site survey, getting pictures of a space is always really important, as well as working off of a plan like this. So we are at that point of this drawing. So now I'm going to add some chairs, because let's get the audience in here. They're the people who are paying to be there after all. So I'm gonna go over to the window tab, go to palettes, and bring up the resource manager. And I'm gonna type in event chair. And you have folding chair, you have event stacking chair. I'm gonna go with event folding chair. Just why not? So I double clicked it. I'm gonna close this out, and now I have this symbol. First click drops it, hold shift, rotate it, drop it again. It looks like it's backwards, so I'm going to come over here and use the rotate tool. Click in the middle. First click sets the axis, the center point. Second click sets the axis. Third click is your rotate. And as you can see here, A is 180 degrees. That looks like it's correct. Place my seat, and we're good to go. So now every time I do this, I like to take a second and get a little bit more organized. So I've drawn a couple of things, but I haven't really classified things, and classifying is going to help as this drawing gets a little clunkier. So as you drop some important things to kind of get yourself going, you got to always remember to double back. I'm going to fix that really quick, set the height to 1 foot to compensate for my 1 foot extrusion on the lower platform. So I think it's a good time to sort of bring up organization. So now that I've created these objects, I have this platform, I have these walls, I have this reference drawing, now I have a chair. It's getting a little clunky. And I need to be organized because I'm going to want to be able to see things. I want to be able to select certain things without selecting other things. So one of the techniques I'd like to sort of demonstrate now is the classificational stuff. So as I select these objects, if I come over here on the right side, there's a lot of information about these objects that I'm selecting. As you select multiple objects, you'll see mutual settings show up. And if I were to change the height, let's say to 20 feet, my room just got twice the height. It's actually a 10 foot, so it's okay that this was set to 10 feet. But you can select multiple objects with a similar parameter and affect that parameter by changing the values in the object info, same as if you selected one object. Now if you notice, I select this object has a 2-foot extrusion and this has a 1-foot extrusion. What you're seeing here is Vectorworks is telling you, oh, both of these things have an extrusion, but they're different values, so there's no value listed. Now if I select a wall and a piece, it'll go completely blank because these two objects are totally different. It'll tell you that you have two objects selected, but it'll tell you that these two things don't share any common ground as far as Vectorworks is concerned. Now as you get into some of these component menus, that common ground might change, but for now you're selecting a wall and a rectangle. Vectorworks is like, you can move these things, but I can't change I can't change the nature of these objects. So I'm going to come back up here to the top view and I'm going to start organizing. So classes are how you stay organized. There's multiple layers that you can use on top of classes, but the class is like the first tool that you can use to organize objects. So the class for this doesn't exist, so I'm going to make a new class. I'm going to call it reference drawing. Ref drawing. And I'm going to select my walls, and I'm actually going to turn ref drawing off so I don't have to see it. Now I'm going to turn on, I'm going to do my walls. So I'm going to shift click my walls, all the pieces, and I'm going to go to class, new class, and I'm going to say walls. Now I'm going to come to my floor. I'm going to turn off walls now. And now I'm going to come to my shapes, my floor shapes, and I'm going to call this seating risers. And I want to apply it to everything. This also belongs in walls. I missed a piece. So now I'm going to turn seating risers off. Now I have my chairs. So I'm going to call this chairs. And I'm going to work with my chairs, and I'm going to work with my reference drawing for a second. And I'm going to use a really cool tool called duplicate along path to make this row of chairs quickly. So I'm going to draw a line using the line tool. I'm going to select the chair, and I'm going to select the line by holding shift and clicking. I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go to duplicate along path. And now I pre-counted them. There are 10 chairs here. So I'm going to say the number of chairs is 10. Center object on path. I'm going to leave tangent to path unchecked. You can preview it if you want, but I know it should work. And there we go, 10 chairs. I'm going to bring this back to this line, hold shift and click, and there we go. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to do the same thing to make this row. I'm going to hold shift and alt, or shift and control, sorry. And I'm just going to keep duplicating. And there we go. Now I gotta fix the Z height of all this. I should have probably done that before I copied everything. So I'm gonna turn everything off but seats. Okay, so what we're seeing here is that thing that popped up where it's not showing me the chairs because it split the objects inside of the chair. The metal, the cloth part, and the metal part are in this class, and the group that they're inside of is in this class. So without these being turned on, I couldn't see those objects. So I'm going to check the height of this. Oh, there's a line in there. Forgot to hit delete source shapes. This is a good place, I guess, to take advantage of that. So now that that line's gone, I should be able to see my chairs. What a great example of what I was just talking about. So it looks like the height of this is correct. It's at a foot. So this should look correct like it did in the 3D before. This is probably inside the 2-foot stage riser. So I got to come over to here and I got to raise this to 2 feet. So now when I turn on all my other stuff and I go into 3D, I have this looking good. So this is a 2-foot, this is a foot. So I had to make sure that the chairs were 2 feet up in the air so that they could be on top of this 2-foot high platform. Cool. So I want this video to be 30 minutes, so I'm gonna just do a couple more touch-ups. I know that behind this last row of seats here, there's a AV booth. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more to this drawing based on my site visit. So I'm gonna come back to the wall tool. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna double click the walls. A single click if you click right here on the check mark, but make sure that walls is bold over here. If you do that as you draw this new wall, it'll automatically be in the walls class instead of none. So I'm going to come over to here. I'm going to tune that up, and it's a really tight fit on these chairs. So I'm going to literally bring this wall right up to that back of the chair. Just don't want to be like in the chair. If you're looking for precision, just zoom in. I'm using the middle mouse wheel. So that to me, I think is pretty good. Let's just do one more 3D check of that. Okay. I think we could get some doors done in 4 minutes. So I'm going to hit 0 again on my number pad. I'm going to come up to the Building Shell Advanced Tool Set. I'm going to scroll down to the Door tool. And I'm going to draw some doors. So there's a door. And I know that door is too big, so I'm going to say it's 2 feet. I want to draw a 2-foot door on the other side that matches this. What I didn't just do was go up to here and set the door the way I want. Like, I could have done the same thing and set this to 2 feet. And now, like, as I draw doors, it'll be 2 feet. What I could do also, which I think is an even cooler tool, is I can use the create similar function. And that is accessed by hitting Control and Alt. If you hold Control and Alt, your mouse becomes this star eyedropper tool. If you want to make anything that you've already made, you can open this tool up and click on an object, and your mouse will automatically become that exact tool with those exact settings. So I'm going to show it to you now, but we're going to use it again in lighting. And you're going to use this a lot if you do way bigger projects. So I'm going to just select that, and now what you'll notice if I do that correctly is I now have a door with the same specs. So it's kind of like a workaround shortcut, which is really cool, I think. There's that door. I know there's also a door over here, so I'm going to just draw a door over here. And I'm going to set this to 3 feet because I know it's a normal sized door. Now I got to create a door over here. Now the thing about the door over here is it's not actually a door, it's just an opening. So I'm going to draw the door, but I'm going to come into here and I'm going to go to settings. And it's going to pop this same menu essentially that I was looking at before. And I'm going to change the type of the frame to opening. And now it's just a hole in a wall. I'm going to change the width to 4 feet because it's bigger. And that looks accurate. The problem is I don't really like the way that the doors look. I want them to be open. So I'm going to select the door. I'm going to select this door. And I'm going to select this door. And I'm going to go down a little bit to show 3D open. And I'm going to show it at a 45-degree angle. So that just, I think, looks nicer. Okay. So that puts us at almost exactly 30 minutes. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm going to just keep going in another 30-minute video and see what we can get done in an hour.